Peace, Elm City Live. So yeah, my eyes were closed, so I just opened my eyes. I'm doing, so this is Witching Hour release number 22, okay? I was going to call it the contract because that's really what I'm going to be talking about. And so what did I call it? Oh, that is what I named it. No, I was going to call it, well, I'm going to be also talking about remembering to release, okay? So I did call it the contract. So I was like teetering between, you know, which title I should use, because I'm going to be talking about remembering to release during this time while we have 4 planets in retrograde, okay? So I am going to be talking about remembering to release and remembering the contract, and also I want to begin by talking about the 4 planets that are in retrograde, okay? So I'm going to start probably at the 3 or 4 minute mark. By the way, we are listening to this is 528 hertz, raised positive vibrations. This is positive energy, self-healing frequency, and I am, this is on Spirit Tribe Awakening on YouTube, okay? So the 528 hertz frequency basically is a self-healing, miraculous self-healing frequency, okay, that we're listening to in the background. So don't forget to breathe deeply, my people. I had to remind myself last night, and I probably go through this probably at least once a week, because, you know, I go through my, you know, my spurts of taking my spiritual baths. Like I'll take them every night, and then I'll stop and I'll take a shower for a couple of nights. And I noticed, like, even on those couple of nights, like if I go more than 3 nights without actually submersing myself in the water, I began to collect other people's crap, okay? And not saying that you can't cleanse yourself in the shower. You most definitely can. But me, you know, being my nature, it's just something about the water that's very healing for me. Very comforting. Like I said, much like mother's womb, and the hotter that the water is, the more healing, the more comforting that it is, the more fragrant that the water is, the more healing and comforting that it is. So yes, I do very, you know, ceremonial, ritual baths, because they are, I find them very healing, very empowering. In the bath is where I do my releasing of heavy energies, okay, and toxic energy. So, you know, much like, you know, the energetic purpose for the Witching Hour release is, you know, the same purpose for the spiritual bath, okay? And so I hope that you guys are bathing more frequently, okay? Like I said, you can cleanse in the shower as well, but I just find the bath to be much more like healing. You know, it's more transformative. It is a place where I am able to release all that I take in. You know, as a Heyoka, as a supernova empath, I just really think that the bath, you know, is essential. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. It is extremely relaxing. I mean, healing. Okay. And so, I want to stress that because I've been doing it a lot lately. And, I have to remind myself to release because, with everything that's going on and having, purified your energy already, having raised your vibration, you forget, like when you go out to Walmart, you go to Target, you go to the grocery store, you go around other people, you come home and then you begin to feel these fluctuations in your emotions, your thoughts, and you know that this is not your stuff. And it's like, okay, why all of a sudden now am I feeling heavy? Why am I feeling emotional? You know what I'm saying? Why am I feeling unbalanced all of a sudden? And so it's easy to forget, that you are an empath, okay? And so you've absorbed, especially if you've been doing a lot of cleansing, okay? If you're extremely clean energetically when you go out, then the more that you need to protect your head, the more that you need to wear your amulets, to wear your your stones, whatever it is that you do to protect your energy. The cleaner that the more that you cleanse yourself spiritually, the more that you're going to also need to protect yourself as you go out among other people. Okay. And for the times that when you do absorb other people's energies, don't forget to release. And so when you begin to feel unexplainable heaviness, unexplainable emotions, or go feeling down for any reason, and you don't, or there really, you can't really put your finger on a reason, it's probably because you have absorbed somebody else's stuff. Okay. So make sure that you do your ritual baths. Okay. That you are adding your sea salt, your Himalayan pink salt, your Epsom salt. Doesn't have to be all three. You can use any one of the three, but if you can blend one or two of them, it makes it better. Make the bath as fragrant as you can. Of course, before your ritual baths, you do want to cleanse your body of all the spiritual, the physical dirt. Okay, so you may want to shower. Okay, first, okay, and then wait an hour or so, and then run your bath. Okay, you want to cleanse your body of the physical dirt, and then you want to luxuriate in the ritual bath. Okay, especially if you're adding, your essential oils or your salts. Make sure that you are also, putting your head under the water, that you're cleansing your head, your scalp, you're massaging your scalp, and that you're actually cleansing from head to toe. Okay. And after you take your baths, you want to kind of like pat yourself dry and kind of like let yourself half air dry as well. So you don't want to, completely, it's a ritual. And so, you know what I'm saying? You want to do that. And you will feel, I feel 100% better after doing that. Okay. And if you need to consciously say, I'm releasing, all negativity, all heaviness, all darkness, anything that is not, of the highest vibration, I'm releasing those things to the divine. Okay. And actually literally, send those things down the drain with the water. Okay. As when you get out of the bath. So those things can be very helpful. So the reason why, I'm saying it is because right now we have 4 planets in retrograde, okay, which can, for even for regular people, but for empathic people, if you're not, completely cleansed, they can affect you in different ways. But right now, because we're going through a planetary shift as a collective, a lot of people are feeling and going through a lot of, the things that these planets being in retrograde are causing. Okay, so Pluto, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter are all in retrograde right now. Okay, so the first planet that's going to come out of retrograde is going to be Venus, okay, later this month, okay, towards the end of June, Venus is going to come out of retrograde, okay, and once Venus comes out of retrograde, then all of the other 3 planets are also going to, once Venus goes direct, basically, the other 3 planets are going to shift as well. But right now, all four planets are in retrograde. Okay, so with Venus being in retrograde, it might make it a little bit harder for people to show their emotions, to show affection, even to themselves. It may be harder to, to do your self love, to show it to others. Now, me personally, I'm not having any of these problems. I'm really not, and I think it's because I went through an intense period of, doing the spiritual work. Okay, but I do feel and see a lot of other people. Hold on, because I see a mosquito in here, and I got to get it because I don't want to get bit, and I don't know where he went. Okay, so so anyway, he'll appear again. So, yeah, with Venus being in retrograde, it may be hard to be emotional, to show your emotions, to express your emotions, or express, to be affectionate towards other people. Okay. So, towards the end of June, you'll be able to be more expressive, more, to be able to show your emotions a little bit more once Venus goes direct. Okay. But by Pluto also being in retrograde, Pluto brings up, a lot of the subconscious fears. It brings up your shadows and things that, those things come to the surface during, when Pluto is in retrograde. Okay. And then when Saturn and Pluto are in retrograde together, Saturn bringing up, your subconscious emotional baggage and your unhealed emotional issues coming to surface. Okay. Up to be along with your fears. Okay. Along with, Venus being in retrograde, making it hard to show, the good things like your emotions, and your love, hard to really express yourself, in an emotional manner. It can be hard. And I think I see a lot of people kind of, going through some of these things. Some people are having dreams and a lot of things. The good thing about it is, that Jupiter is also in retrograde. So with Jupiter being in retrograde, this allows for some positive energy to come in as well. Okay. Positive energy, new possibilities for, joy, the new possibilities for good luck, or for the wheel of fortune to turn in your favor. And so all of these energies are kind of making an interesting mix of energies right now. So it's about right now, if you're conscious of what's going on, then all these energies mixing like they are, if you're consciously able to reach in, okay, and extract the energies that you want and use them, in the way that you want to use them, in a way that will be beneficial for you and for your growth, then, you can use them to your benefit. And so this is why it's important to know, what energies that these planets are stirring up, okay, and the fact that, and what they're stirring up within you, and understanding why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, or going or thinking the way that you're thinking. Why am I thinking about things in the past that I thought that I, no longer was going to have to deal with or think about? Why am I feeling things that I thought that I, had already gotten over, and all of that. And also understanding that with Jupiter coming in, there are a lot of new possibilities on the positive plane as well. So again, which energies do I want to reach into this mixture and extract for myself, for my own, my own specific purposes? Okay. And so in the midst of all of this, you're going to be taking in energies from everywhere. And so, and again, at the end of each day, remember to release in whatever way, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. So in whatever way works for you. Again, for me, the ritual bath works for me. Okay. It works wonders. And so, I suggest that. But again, we all have our own, to each his own, path and his own way of doing things. And so if you have something that works better for you, like music, like dancing, like writing, journaling, whatever it is, by all means do that. Okay. And if you share whatever it is that you're doing to help someone else, then again, by all means do that. Okay. And so basically, I wanted to remind people to remember to release, because again, it's easy to forget that this is not your stuff. And you begin to, because once it's like, even like if you begin to feel heavy emotions, or emotions that don't belong to you, but you don't immediately identify the fact that they don't belong to you, then what your mind has a tendency to do is to begin to search for things within your own mind that match the vibration of the sadness that you're feeling. So what you'll end up doing is creating or bringing up, or causing your own sadness by holding on to low vibrations that you have picked up from the environment. And if you hold on to those long enough, they will begin to attract things within yourself, thoughts and feelings that exist within you, that match that vibration. So you'll begin to bring up things and think about stuff that you weren't even thinking about, that match the vibration of the sadness that you picked up from the environment. Okay, so you pick up something from the environment when you were doing just fine, and you hold it for so long because you forget to release, and then it begins to attract thoughts and emotions of like energy that still may exist within you. So then you start thinking about when somebody died, you start thinking about things that happened as a child. You start thinking about stuff that you really had already kind of put to rest, but now you're pulling them back up, for one, because the planets are in retrograde, and two, because you haven't released energies of that same frequency that have pulled these things up out of you. And so it's important to release at the end of each day, especially in the climate that we're in right now. Okay, so it's also important to remember that remembering the contract, okay, which is basically what is the title of this release. Okay, remembering the contract that spiritually, before we came here, before we incarnated into this realm, we each agreed to come here, okay, knowing that this would be a very pivotal time on earth. We knew what was going to be going on, okay, and we also we chose to come anyway, okay, and we knew that there were going to be also many tests and trials when we got here. We knew that, and but we also knew that us coming in from this higher realm, that we would be bringing a breath of fresh air, okay, to a already stuffy situation. And we also we were being offered an opportunity to make a difference, okay, and to change this stuffy situation, okay. And so before we agreed to the contract, okay, we were reminded, okay, by the Creator, because the Creator is compassionate, okay. Our Creator is compassionate, okay. There are children of a lesser God that exist, but I'm talking about our compassionate Creator, okay. Reminded us to be that we can, that we can always call on our spirit guides, okay, the angelic realm. If we ever felt that we were being pulled into a situation where we couldn't handle it alone, okay, when things got too heavy or too hard for us, that we could always call on help from help from on high, okay. And so this was before we came in. We were reminded of that. And so I feel like we need to remind you again of the fact that you can always call on help from the angelic realm, okay. Those of you who are here on a mission, who contracted to come here in order to try to make changes and to make a difference, okay. So I feel the need to remind you to remember to release all heavy concerns and energies to the Creator at the end of each day, for those to be resolved by the divine. Okay, it's not something that you have to take on. It's something that you are just basically have contracted to be a filter for. Okay, so pull those energies out of the environment as you have been doing, but don't forget, Lightworker, Empath, Starseed, to release those energies to the divine. Don't hold them and don't take them personally, and don't allow them to begin to weigh you down, okay. But at the end of the day, make sure that you meditate, that you relax, that you allow the divine to replenish your soul. Go out in nature, go out in the trees when it's raining, go out in the rain, okay. Go out in some water, go to the river, go to the lake, okay. Water is very healing, it's very cleansing, it's very rejuvenating, okay. Anytime you feel anxious or overwhelmed by what you see in the paper, what you hear on the news, by any the fearful people that are around you, remember that you can always call home, okay, quote unquote call home and ask for assistance and release all of these worries, these concerns, all these anxieties, you can release those things to the angels, okay, and they will give those things back to the divine for the divine to handle, okay? So you don't have to take on the weight of the world on yourself. And I, like I said, we know this, but sometimes we need to be reminded because, we're moving through our lives day to day, and we feel that, we begin to forget our divinity, and we begin to feel as if we're human, and we don't remember that we are unconsciously collecting these heavy energies from the environment. And, so we have to be reminded sometimes to release them back out into the environment, because, there's a danger of us beginning to feel and believe that these negative and lower vibratory energies are a part of ourselves, okay? And they absolutely are not, okay? And so with the world shifting the way that it does, that it is at this moment, there's going to be, a lot of stressful situations that are happening, situations such as job loss, money problems, people who are having survival fears, and any other shocking circumstances. We need to also remain mindful and be reminded sometimes that when these things begin to happen in our lives, when we are presented with these things, loss of a loved one, like I said, loss of a job, loss of in any form, fears, anxiety, you need to remember that a lot of the times, this is just the Creator trying to get your attention, to remind you that you are here for a very specific purpose, and this is a purpose that you literally stood in line and to sign up for, to actually come here and be able to be the one to fulfill this purpose. Okay, so a lot of times when we are snatched out of a codependent or a toxic relationship and being made to put in going into hermit mode, it's due to the fact that we have forgotten our purpose and we have lost focus. Okay. And so, whatever things that are snatched out of our lives in a shocking manner, this is the Creator literally tapping you on the shoulder saying, look, remember, you are here for a very specific purpose. This is not your purpose here. It's taking too much of your time, too much of your energy, and we need to get you back on track. Okay. And so, though painful as it may be, this is, why these things happen, okay? In order for you to, fulfill your purpose, for you to remember you're here for a specific purpose. And if those things are distracting you from your purpose, they will be extracted from your life, okay? And so, basically you need to be set on track. You need to be made to remember that you are the only one who can fulfill this specific purpose that you contracted for, okay? And so you are the one, like Neo in the Matrix, okay? No one else can fit into your specific piece of the God puzzle, okay? So we've already talked about that. So basically, remember that you're here to hold the light, okay, and to hold the light steady in the midst of the shadows of death and darkness that are all around you right now, okay? This is why people like me come and warn you ahead of time to what is coming, okay? So, I talked about this, I've been talking about it for quite a while now. I've even talked about it on my other channel, and I tried to let you know that this time was coming, okay? And that when it does come, for you not to sink into the collective, for you not to succumb to the fear that's swirling all around you, but for you to remember your purpose and to hold your center, hold your light steady in the midst of this darkness, basically to blaze a path of light through the valley of the shadow of death that we're moving through right now, okay? And so right now we're surrounded by people who are in fear, who are in darkness, okay? And your purpose, light worker, is to help humanity, okay? To look deeper within itself, okay? And deeper within its reality, to find the grace of the Creator that exists there within yourself and within all other living things, okay? And so the darkness right now is no longer acceptable. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. We're in the age of light, the age of awakening. And so there's no more darkness in which to hide. And so operating and moving in darkness is no longer acceptable. Okay, so the star seeds, the empath, the light workers, you are the instruments of change to help this change to come about. So a lot of you may have been seeing the number 555 a lot. Okay, you may be seeing the angel numbers all together. Okay, for myself, I've been seeing, which I always have seen, but I've seen 1111, 111, 222, 333, 444, and 555. Okay, also 777. Okay, so these are the numbers that I've been seeing. So if you've been seeing these sequence numbers, these are, again, the creator tapping you on the shoulder, trying to get your attention, trying to remind you of your very specific purpose and mission for being here. Okay, because there's no more time to be distracted by bullshit. Okay, so basically, you are literally, you have angelic DNA. If you're a star seed, an empath, or a light worker, you are literal earth angels, okay, literally wearing a human mask, okay, and playing a part that you yourself scripted, okay, but that you have forgotten, okay. And so some of you, begin to believe that the physical body and this physical life is who and what you are, okay. And so you forget that, you begin to believe that you're really here, when in fact you're not really here, okay. The truth is that you are spiritual beings of the very highest light and the very highest frequency. Okay, you are literal earth angels, okay, wearing a human flesh suit, and you have forgotten your divinity. Okay, so the fact that you have forgotten your true identity is what's causing a lot of unnecessary pain. Okay, and so when you lose a job, a home, when you lose a loved one, or you end a relationship, the advice from the divine is to retreat from the situation and call in the help. Okay. And because, these things are falling away because they are the changes that are needed to bring about the change of your direction that is already written into your contract. Okay. So when these things happen and you're shocked, and you're hurt beyond what you think you can handle, then retreat, fall back from the situation, and call on help from the divine, because they will bring in, what you need in order to be able to get through it. Okay, but understand that these things are being taken away out of your reality, because again, these things needed to change. They were the changes that were needed. These were the changes that were written into the contract. Okay, and so when you see these circumstances unfolding in your own life, step back, accept and understand that this is a higher action that's in process, okay? Because when my situation happened, I already knew it, because I was given the information in a dream beforehand, like I always am, okay? And so I already knew what was happening, and though it was the most painful thing ever and the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life, I was able to, it was easier for me to go through it, I think, than another person would have been, because I did recognize that it was like the hand of God. It was a higher process that was happening. So I was able to release it to the creator to handle. Okay. And, being, this is 9 months later, I can say that I am satisfied with the way that the divine has handled it. And I can say that the way the divine has balanced the scales in my situation was better than anything that I could have done. Okay. And so I am absolutely satisfied with the way the scales have been balanced in my situation. Okay. But ultimately, it is your resistance to the things that are supposed to change, in your life, okay, that causes the most pain, okay? And so when you release it, you are allowing the creator to take those heavy situations, or take whatever it is, the pain, whatever, and to take that thing that needed to change, that was written into your contract to change, and replace it with something that suits your higher self, that suits your higher interest. Okay, and this is the part that I think a lot of people don't see going in. When these things are being snatched out of our lives, the part that we don't see, and that we need to remember, and and need to have faith in, is that it is being, the things that are being taken away will be replaced with something better. Okay, something that suits our higher selves, that's something that better suits our higher interests. Okay, and so you'll be pleasantly surprised at the blessings that are tied to the changes, okay, that you can't see in the moment. And so this is where that walk of faith comes in, where you begin to, you basically have to put your trust in the divine. Okay, and I can say from my own experience that I haven't been disappointed yet. Okay, I have not yet been let down by the divine. Okay, in the way that, when you release certain things in certain situations that you don't have control over, you know, you get a better outcome than anything that you could have thought of yourself. Okay, so when you release the pain, the fears, the frustrations, and you give those to the Creator, you feel yourself being shifted into a different path. Okay, and from this new perspective, you can see a bigger picture. Okay, and you realize that all of the chaos, in the world that around you, and like I was talking about earlier, you've been to Walmart, you've been, to the park, you've been wherever you've been, you didn't realize, because you had gotten basically kind of submerged into the matrix yourself, you didn't realize that the chaos in the world around you had begun to seep into your own reality, into your own mind, okay, into your own energetic sphere of influence, and had slightly warped your own vision for a moment. Okay, and so you needed this perception correction. Okay, and so now you remember, you remember that you were already shown the end in the beginning. Okay, and you had forgotten that because you had become the character that you had written, and you couldn't see outside of that. Okay, and so you thought that the little you was the real you. Okay, and so as you shift your perspective back into that of the big you, okay, to the higher self, then you remember that you already know that the outcome has a happy ending. Okay, and it has many blessings along the way as well. And so then you're able to calm yourself down. Okay, and you realize that the panic, the anxiety that you were experiencing was literally, and simply, your resistance to an ever-changing environment. Okay, and so when change is, you understanding that, and understanding that change is inevitable, that it's part of this reality, it's part of this experience, you learn to not resist those changes so much, but you begin to recognize, the hand of the divine when it is coming in to turn that cosmic wheel. Okay, and if you are aligning yourself with the will of the Creator, then when that wheel turns, it is going to be turning in your favor. Okay, so a lot of the anxiety and the panic that people are feeling is just their resistance to an environment that they should already know is an ever-changing one. Okay, and so when these changes take place, you know, in your world, okay, and they are out of your control, this is again the Creator reminding you that this is written into your contract, and the changes are necessary for you to be reminded of the contract. Okay, and to be put back on the path with a few minor adjustments, okay, to your attitude, to your perception, okay, and to help you travel with more ease and more grace, for the rest of your path. Okay, so it's like, when these drastic changes take place, it's basically because you needed a perception correction. You had gotten too lost in the sauce. You had gotten too, you are identifying too much with the scripted character that you wrote. Okay, and so you're beginning to identify too much with the small, the little you. Okay, and so the larger non-physical you, again, dips her hand in, and to turn that wheel, to give you that minor adjustment, that's going to help you see more clearly what's going to happen. Okay, to help you move more gracefully down the path going forward. Okay, to help you remember what needs to be remembered, and help you accept the fact that there is always change is inevitable. There will always be change. Okay, and so once you accept that, you allow yourself to be at peace with it. Okay, And so I'm just going to leave it here, you guys. I'm not going to overload you too much tonight with that. But I felt like I did need to come and remind you of those things. Okay. And so, don't take a lot of the things that are happening right now. Don't take it too personally, and definitely don't hold on to anything. Understand that you are a conduit, a filter for, bringing negative energy out of this world and giving it back to the divine. So don't forget to release, okay? And also bringing energy from the divine into this world, okay? So also don't forget to shine your heart light. Don't forget to love. Don't forget to show love and affection. Don't forget to share whatever it is that you have to share, okay? A lot of you are now getting downloads. You're getting visions. You're getting information from the divine in whatever way. You're hearing things. You're hearing music. A lot of you are, are clairaudient, so you're able to hear the deeper messages in the music now. Whatever it is that you're getting, share that with the world, okay? And this is how you shine your light out into the world, is by sharing whatever, information, whatever energies that you're getting from the divine, in the form of love and light, in the form of information, downloads, whatever. Be sure that you share those things with other people. This is the act of shining your heart light, okay, of sharing that divine love and light from the higher realms, okay? So remembering your function as a conduit is going to bring you more into divine alignment with your higher self, literally aligning you with the will of the Most High, okay? So Pluto is going to be in retrograde until October 14th, okay? So until October 14th, and let me see, Pluto and Saturn. Saturn is going to be in retrograde, I believe, until September. Okay, so I think September 29th, okay? And so during this time, a lot of your subconscious fears are going to be coming back to the surface, okay? But they're coming back to be released, okay? If you will allow yourself to release them. Again, I suggest the ritual bath, okay? And if you don't know, can't make these for yourself, I do have products in my shop that you can purchase to help you with those baths, okay? The river rocks, okay? I have a whole section of my store dedicated to the river rocks, which are chunks of Himalayan pink salt, okay, saturated in essential oils and herbs to help you, okay, to basically change the energy in your bath water. So you can use these along with bubble bath. You can use them along with other bath salts and other bath products, okay? So the river rocks are compatible with a lot of different things, but they help tremendously with your cleanse, okay? So I use those. I put one in my bath that I take almost every night, okay? And like I said, I noticed the nights that I don't take a bath and I take a shower, I'm not able to release as much as I would when I'm actually submerged in the water, okay? So while Saturn and Pluto are in retrograde, your emotional baggage, your unhealed emotional issues, your fears, your subconscious fears, and your shadows are all going to be coming to the surface, okay? To be examined, to be healed and released, okay? And so, allow that to happen, okay? Venus being in retrograde, it may be hard, okay? So it's going to be a challenge. So make sure that you pay extra attention to yourself, that you give yourself extra self-love, that you are doing extra self-care because it's needed at this time. And also grab up that Jupiter energy, okay? So Venus is going to, like I said, it'll be in retrograde until the end of this month. And then Jupiter, I believe, until around September 12th, okay? And so grab that positive energy, because along with your fears and in your subconscious, emotions and stuff coming to the surface, that Jupiter energy is also in the air to help balance that out. So make sure that you also grab some of that, okay, which basically is giving you all sorts of possibilities to heal, to turn the wheel in your favor, and to make make positive things happen. Okay, so it's all basically up to you. So these planets being in retrograde don't necessarily have to be experienced as a negative thing. Okay, they can all be grasped and used for the benefit of the growth of your soul. Okay, so just take what has been given to you, and do what you will with it. Okay. So because I don't like to spoon feed anyone information and like tell you what to do and how to do it, but I do like to give you the information that you need to be able to do what you need to do in the way that you choose to do it. Okay. So if you need to go back, if you got here late, if you're going to be listening to the playback, make sure you do listen to the information, especially regarding the planets and the energies that they're stirring up within you. Recognize these energies as they come in through your dreams, through your downloads, through your thoughts, your intuition, the visions that you're having. Okay. Don't deny those things. Don't doubt them. Don't ignore them. Okay. This is direct communication from the divine, as was this channel. Okay. Until we meet again, my people, keep it classy, keep it clean. Thank you, Elm City Live, for sharing this time and space with me. And do what you got to do to make shit happen. Once again, we were listening to 528 hertz. This is Spirit Tribe Awakening, and this is Healing Frequency, Vibration, Healing Miracle Music. Peace.